The Emperor's Soul by Brandon Sanderson, published in 2012. This is a non-spoiler review, so I'll keep details as vague as possible. The book, well, technically it's a novella. It's about a forger named Shay who is brought in to recreate the Emperor's Soul after an assassination attempt leaves a man basically brain dead. This is tied to the Atlantis universe, but, not really. This is a much more streamlined story than I'm used to seeing from Sanderson, which makes sense because it's, well, a lot shorter. There isn't as much time to explore secondary characters, and I like that focus. I was engaged from beginning to end. The magic system is an effective, creative way of exploring the human soul. Stories, even biographies, they often try to point to singular events that mold a person into who they are, but people, they're rarely that simple. Many factors play in. I initially wasn't sold on the magic system itself. It seemed overly complicated and ill-defined, but the system, it grew on me once I started to understand it. By the end, I could see this as a basis for a full novel. Rewriting an object's past in order to reforge its present, making those changes believable enough for the object itself to accept, studying a person's history in order to understand what makes them who they are, then trying to emulate that. And maybe I'm reading too much into things here, but as I read this novella, it dawned on me that Sanderson was doing something very similar in the real world. He was completing the Wheel of Time series for Robert Jordan after his death. He had to not only understand where those books needed to go and the goals and motivations of all the contained characters, he had to adopt Jordan's writing style. He had to understand the man to, in a sense, become the man. The ending is great as well. There are a couple of threads, a couple of parallels that pay off quite nicely, and I felt I understood Shay's motivations a little bit better. Art, it comes in many forms. All in all, I felt that this all culminated in a very satisfying, insightful conclusion. But I did find it a little convenient the way the story opens. Are you telling me Shay just so happened to break into the palace at the time the king is attacked and rendered brain dead? She's probably the only person alive who might be able to help him here. Also, in spite of all the justifications given for the noble art of forgery, I was never quite sold on it. Shay is a thief. Just because she steals from a system she despises doesn't change that fact. She profits through deception. Lastly, the connection to Atlantis is really vague. In fact, I didn't pick up on anything while reading the novella. I had to resort to a Google search, and I'm not surprised I didn't find any connections. They might as well not be there. In conclusion, The Emperor's Soul is definitely worth reading. I didn't love the character of Shay. Her justifications as a forger didn't resonate with me, but this is a fascinating exploration of what it means to be human, the complexities in making us who we are. Now, I don't like giving books ratings because, well, every book is different. How can you compare the humor of a John Scalzi novel with the twisted characters written by Stephen King? Should entertainment value trump depth or heart? Of course, I still rate books, I just don't like it. There are many aspects to consider, and my current mood can have a big effect. I'd rather the focus lie in the positives and negatives I discuss. Let's give it 5 out of 5 though. Anyway, that's all I've got. If you like this review, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and thanks for listening. Peace.